If you've been studying English for hours every day but still can't remember the words you learned yesterday, by the end of this video, I'm going to show you one habit that will make you both learn and use English in just 30 minutes a day, and you'll feel the difference from day one. I guarantee it. But before we get into the video, if you're really struggling with memorizing vocabulary, like the video now and subscribe to the channel, because the method you'll learn today is backed by science, and it's a method I've been using for years. Hello everyone, I'm Mr. English Teacher. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you the one simple habit that my entire English learning is built around. And it's so simple that once you understand it, you'll realize you can build your whole study routine on this one thing. It's backed by science, it only takes 30 minutes a day, and I've been using it for years because it simply works. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that even after your first study session, you'll see the difference. You'll remember at least one expression, and you'll feel confident enough to use it in your next conversation. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to use this habit step by step. Alright, so I call it the learn and use habit, and it's built on comprehensible input and active recall. I talk about the comprehensible input theory a lot on my channel because this is what I use in my English learning, and if you're new here and don't know what it is, basically it's when you read or listen to content that you can mostly understand. It's comprehensible for you. You can understand it, but you're still learning something new, like there's still some words you don't know, but obviously they don't make up the majority. And so with this habit, we use comprehensible input and we combine it with active learning. And personally, I find active learning really useful when it comes to internalizing new vocabulary. Basically, this habit bridges the gap between input and output, and this helps you understand the language and also use it naturally. Okay, so now let's actually talk about this habit. Let's break it down and start with the first step. Step 1. Choose your input. You're going to start by choosing something that you really like a YouTube video by a creator that you admire, or maybe a chapter from a book you're currently reading, or an article. The key here is interest and comprehensibility. The material should be just slightly challenging. It shouldn't be so hard that you can't even follow the main ideas. No, that means it's way too hard and you have to choose something easier. Let me give you an example. Let's say you choose a short article about habits or productivity, something you're interested in. The key is that you should understand maybe 70 to 80% of it, but there are still a few new words, a few new expressions that you want to learn. And this is perfect because you're not overwhelmed, but you're also learning something new. And that's the sweet spot for language learning. So step number 2 is going to be collect vocabulary. While watching the video or reading the chapter, you're going to write down all the new expressions, the words you don't know, the grammar patterns that look unfamiliar, and obviously, if you're following the comprehensible input method, you're not going to have a list of like 50 new words, 50 new expressions. You're probably going to have like a few new words, which is absolutely great. Here, the simplicity is key. We don't need a super long list of random words. After collecting all of these words, you can talk to AI. You can ask AI to explain what all of these expressions mean. Ask it to give you example sentences. Make it help you understand subtle nuances of how all of these words are used. This makes your vocabulary list richer and more context-aware. Instead of staring at a bunch of words that you have to memorize, you're actually having a conversation with AI. It's no longer a random collection of words. It's already more connected to you. Let me show you how I would personally do it. So let's choose the expression prevailing wisdom and have a conversation with ChatGPT. You could say, "Hi, so I'm trying to learn this new expression in English, prevailing wisdom. Can you explain what it means? Can you give me example sentences of how a native speaker would use it?" and also help me understand like the nuances of this expression, where I can use it. Should I even learn it? Is it a useful expression? And ChatGPT would tell you it's actually a pretty handy phrase to know. It basically means the generally accepted belief or the common view on a particular topic. You can do the same thing and have a conversation with ChatGPT or just type in your questions and then see the responses. And this is so much better than just looking up a word in a dictionary because you're having a conversation, you're understanding the context, you're seeing how native speakers actually use it. Okay, so now let's talk about the final step. Step number 3, reflect and reuse. So you have your AI explanations, all of the examples, you understand what all of these expressions mean. Now it's time to reflect. It's time to actually practice active recall. And what it means is you're trying to use these words in your text or in your speech. And we're going to make it super low pressure by journaling or again having a conversation with your AI. The idea behind it is that I really want you to move from just understanding all of these words to actually using them yourself. In psychology, there is this super interesting theory called the generation effect. Simply put, what it means is that you remember information when you create it yourself instead of just reading it, looking at it, or repeating it. In other words, when your brain has to generate something, this expression becomes active instead of just staying passive in your memory. And this act of retrieving and creating something makes you memorize all of this information way faster. So let's say you sit down to practice journaling. You're going to try to use this new word, this new expression while journaling about something. And this way, you're going to be practicing active recall. You're going to be thinking, okay, I have to use this word, I have to use this expression. How can I use it? Like, does it feel natural when I personally use it? But let's say you decide to talk to ChatGPT and use the new expression you're trying to memorize. You could say, can you ask me a question where I could practice active recall and I'm going to use this phrase myself? And ChatGPT might ask, can you tell me about a piece of prevailing wisdom in the self-improvement world that you personally disagree with? And then you would answer using that expression. The prevailing wisdom that I used to believe in the productivity world is that if I don't have any hobbies, if my only hobby is my work, that somehow makes me successful. But right now, I understand that taking breaks, resting, doing something else is actually really important. Do you see how I actually made myself use this expression? Obviously, I gave me a lot of amazing examples, but I really wanted to practice active recall. I really wanted AI to ask me questions, to make me use this expression myself, and it's so easy to do right now. You can journal and respond to a few questions, or if you want to, you can also practice speaking. So I've been using this 3-step habit very consistently, and I think it does work because it makes you focus on absorbing the language first and then producing it second. So you're always going through this loop. You find something that you really like that's comprehensible enough for you, you're observing the language, and then you're practicing active recall. You're trying to understand like the nuances of all of these expressions, how you can personally use it while journaling or while speaking to people. And to be honest, every time I sit down to practice my English, that is what I do. Like, I don't really add more things. Sometimes if I feel like I have more time or if I want to do something else, obviously that's completely normal, but most of the time that's what I do. I read something, I listen to something, I watch something, and then I talk to AI or I journal and I use all of these new expressions. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. The habit that I shared with you today has been really helpful when it comes to memorizing new vocabulary, like working with my memory, not against it. Write in the comments which expression you're going to learn and use today, because even writing this will get your brain into action. And remember, learning English is not about memorizing thousands of words. It's about learning a few words and actually using them. I'm Mr. English Teacher. See you in the next video. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.